Naruto, Hyuga member awakens godly Tenseigan, Chapter 51. Mikoto, do you want to turn on Mangekyo Sharingan? Hyuga Chen asked Mikoto suddenly. The words of Hyuga Chen attracted the eyes of Kushina and Tsunade. Turn on Mangekyo? Do you have a way? Tsunade walked over and asked, with his arms around his neck. Of course there is a way. If you have a pair of Sharingan, I can also turn on Mangekyo for you. Hyuga Chen said proudly. Chen, didn't you say that after turning on Mangekyo Sharingan will become blind as you gradually use it? Mikoto asked, a little worried. What she cares about is not blindness, but after blindness, she can no longer see Hyuga Chen. It's okay. A solution has been found. Hyuga Chen said with a smile. Ha ha ha. Mangekyo Sharingan will be blind. Where did you hear the false news? It really laughs at me. Who told you that Mangekyo Sharingan would be blind? Tsunade asked with a laugh. Oh? Chen said it, isn't it right? Of course it's wrong. Uchiha Madara also turned on Mangekyo Sharingan, but I never heard that he was blind. Chen, you didn't hear false news. Tsunade rubbed Hyuga Chen's head with his hands. Hyuga Chen pushed her hand away unhappily, and then sorted her hair. The head can be broken, the blood can flow, but the hair can't be messed up. Mikoto, let's ignore him. We think we know very well. In fact, you don't know anything. Don't talk if you don't know it. Saying it will only make people laugh. Even the Uchiha family doesn't know how to open eyes. How would you know? Tsunade thought that this should be Hyuga Chen reading some books, and then she thought she knew Sharingan. She didn't dare to let Hyuga Chen mess around. Hyuga Chen is depressed, saying that I am ignorant, and it is you who is ignorant. Sister Tsunade, I believe in Chen. Mikoto shook his head at Tsunade, then looked firmly at Hyuga Chen. Hyuga Chen immediately became proud, and looked at Tsunade with a proud look. See it? Mikoto, still believe me. Damn it, seeing your proud face, I want to punch you in the face. Tsunade gritted his teeth. Don't hurt Mikoto. Finally Tsunade reminded him. Don't worry. How could I be willing to hurt Mikoto? Hyuga Chen replied with some guilty conscience. After that, I really want to make Mikoto suffer a little bit. I hope Mikoto won't beat himself up by then. Mikoto is so gentle, shouldn't he? Hyuga Chen took out a kunai and placed it on Mikoto's hand. Mikoto was puzzled, but reached out to take it. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Mikoto, the way to start Mangekyo is actually. Pouch, kunai in Mikoto's hand was grabbed by Hyuga Chen and pierced into his chest. Mikoto looked at Hyuga Chen stupidly, looking at this scene with a frightened and unbelievable look on his face. Chen, me. There were painful tears in Mikoto's eyes. Sharingan turned on subconsciously, and the 3 Goyu Jade spun quickly. Seeing the blood on his hands, and Hyuga Chen lying in his arms, and feeling the fading body temperature of Hyuga Chen, Mikoto completely collapsed. Chen, I don't want you to die. Mikoto shouted. 3 Tomo Sharingan joined together, and a pair of sakura flower-shaped Mangekyo Sharingan appeared in Mikoto's eyes. But Mikoto didn't notice, just holding Hyuga Chen in pain. Chen, you are the opposite of joking with me. I don't want you to have something wrong. I won't open Mangekyo. Will you survive? Mikoto's face was full of pain. Looking at the kunai in his hand, Mikoto pierced his chest without hesitation. Just when he was about to stab himself, a big hand held Mikoto's hand. Mikoto looked at Hyuga Chen in his arms with surprise and excitement. Tears of surprise appeared on his face. Mikoto. The illusion is over. Hyuga Chen, lying in Mikoto's arms, said with a smile. After Hyuga Chen finished speaking, the surrounding space was shattered and the environment changed drastically. Mikoto looked at Hyuga Chen, who was standing in front of him without any injuries, and rushed into his arms. Chen, tell me if this is a dream? Mikoto hugged Hyuga Chen, looking at Hyuga Chen with anticipation on his face. The illusion just now was so real that she couldn't tell the difference. She just wanted to pray that everything just now was an illusion. Of course it's not a dream. The one just now was a dream, a nightmare. Now that the dream wakes up, what you have to face is a better tomorrow. Hyuga Chen hugged Mikoto tightly and said distrustedly. In fact, he didn't want Mikoto to experience this, but this was the only way he could think of. Mikoto is different from other Uchiha clan members. She is gentle and kind. Compared with other Uchiha clan members, they are two extremes, so it is even more difficult to start Mangekyo. Hyuga Chen has no choice but to use illusion on Mikoto, let her experience pain in the illusion, and then activate Mangekyo through stimulation. What's wrong with you, Mikoto? Turn on Mangekyo Sharingan, you should be happier. Kushina walked over and looked at Mikoto suspiciously. In her and Tsunade's eyes, when Shin walked in front of Mikoto, Mikoto suddenly turned on Mangekyo, and then shed tears, crying into Chen's arms. Both of them still feel inexplicable now. Did you really help Mikoto turn on Mangekyo Sharingan? Tsunade couldn't believe what he saw. Chen, this matter must not be revealed, otherwise not only the Uchiha family, but also other people will trouble you. Tsunade became serious. If it is revealed that Hyuga Chen can open Mangekyo Sharingan, the Uchiha family will definitely send someone to tie him. And if you don't want the Uchiha family to own Mangekyo's high-level Konoha, they will definitely send someone to assassinate him or imprison him. In short, as long as it is exposed, it will only hurt Hyuga Chen, not any good. Hyuga Chen smiled and didn't say anything. He knew that Tsunade was good to him, but Hyuga Chen didn't care anymore. His current strength is not afraid of anyone looking for trouble. He has confidence if he has strength. Sorry, Mikoto. Chen looked at Mikoto in his arms apologetically. What the hell is going on? In an instant, Mikoto's Mangekyo turned on. This Mangekyo Sharingan is too worthless. Tsunade couldn't help but complain. Mikoto's eyes are so beautiful, like a sakura flower about to bloom. Kushina's focus is completely different from Tsunade. Don't be like this in the future, I'm really scared, really scared. Mikoto raised his head and looked at Chen with tears. I promise, this will never happen in the future. Hyuga Chen promised, patting his chest. TSK, Tusk. You look so sweet, I am envious of it. Tsunade's eyes passed a trace of imperceptible envy. Kushina puffed up her mouth. Although she was ready to serve her husband with Mikoto, she couldn't help being jealous. At this time, Mikoto stopped his emotions and shyly buried his head in Hyuga Chen's arms. The experience just now in the illusion still has a big impact on Mikoto. Now Mikoto is holding Hyuga Chen's hand and is unwilling to let go, for fear that Hyuga Chen will disappear once he let go. Chapter 52. Mikoto, here's this for you. Hyuga Chen took out an emerald green potion and handed it to Mikoto. What a powerful life energy, what is this? Tsunade leaned over, and Tsunade could feel the powerful vitality through the bottle. Can you study it for me? No, this is for Mikoto to evolve the eyes, and you can't study it. Hyuga Chen shook his head firmly. Even Tsunade couldn't study this thing thoroughly. The things that came out of the system, research is useless. Anyway, nothing can be researched. This medicine was drawn during the lottery, and the mall simply couldn't buy it. At first, Hyuga Chen thought it was the same as the one in the mall, but yesterday, Hyuga Chen looked at the introduction and found that this potion could not only evolve Sharingan, but also get Sage Body. This is even more precious. If the mall has this potion, it will definitely cost more than 700,000 exchange points. Therefore, it is impossible for Hyuga Chen to study Tsunade. This is related to Mikoto's eyes. What if the study is scrapped? Sister Wing, I'm so good to you, now I don't want to study it. Tsunade said angrily, feeling a little sad. It's okay, Chen, let's show Sister Tsunade. Mikoto said, no, I got it with great difficulty. If the research is broken, Mikoto, what with your eyes, other things are okay, but this thing is definitely not good. Hyuga Chen was extremely determined. Huh. If you give it to me, I can definitely return you 10 bottles. Tsunade said confidently. In her opinion, since Hyuga Chen has this medicine, it must have been researched by others, and she thinks Tsunade is no weaker than anyone. Haha. Hyuga Chen chuckled slightly, clearly not believing Tsunade. Tsunade screamed, and pinched Hyuga Chen's cheeks with both hands, and kneaded them vigorously, deforming Hyuga Chen's cheeks. You bastard, you are less and less cute than before. Tsunade said uncomfortably. Sister Tsunade, don't blame me, this potion is very important to Mikoto, and I can't say his origin, it is impossible to be copied. Hyuga Chen took away Tsunade's hand and said to Tsunade seriously, I don't mean to blame you, it's just that you don't believe in my ability, which makes me very unhappy. Tsunade said dissatisfied. It's not that you don't believe you, let's just say it. This potion can even give a person a chance to awaken with style. You think you can replicate it? Hyuga Chen said with a wry smile. Hyuga Chen is not wrong. Although this is the Mangekyo evolution potion, it can make people have a fairy body, a real fairy body, and it is not impossible to give birth to wood style. Birth wood style? Tsunade was silent this time. If she could really make her own wood style, she would really not be able to replicate this potion. She knew that she still had it. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Mikoto, hurry up and take it. In the future, you might be able to slap Uchiha Madara and become the strongest ninja in the Uchiha family. Hyuga Chen handed the potion to Mikoto. Mikoto didn't hesitate, opened the lid, and drank with his head up. After taking the medicine, Mikoto felt that his cells were extremely active, chakra began to skyrocket, and the pupil power increased rapidly, almost infinite. The pattern of the eyes changed again. If Mikoto's eyes were sakura flowers that had not bloomed just now, they are now in the shape of sakura flowers that have fully bloomed. The powerful pupil power exploded, and both Tsunade and Kushina were forced to retreat for several steps and looked at Mikoto in shock. Mangekyo Sharingan can really evolve. Feeling the pressure from Mikoto, Tsunade was shocked. Don't look at Tsunade as the princess of the Senju family, but she doesn't know much about Sharingan from the old rival family. Not many people even knew Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in the entire ninja world, and almost all of them died. Otherwise, why do you think Uchiha Madara fights your grandfather? If there is no eternal Mangekyo, he will not be blown by your grandfather. Hyuga Chen murmured, speaking of Uchiha Madara is also a tragedy, has been crushed by the big pillar. That is, Uchiha Madara, how could it be my grandpa's opponent? Tsunade said slightly. At this time, Mikoto's eyes have evolved to eternal Mangekyo, and the quantity and quality of chakra have skyrocketed, and his strength has been forcibly promoted to quasi-shadow. If it is not young, now Mikoto is a shadow level. How does Mikoto feel? Hyuga Chen asked. It feels very powerful. I feel that the pupil power is endless, and chakra has skyrocketed more than 10 times. I feel that Tsunade is not my opponent either. Mikoto smiled mischievously. You are really right, Tsunade will definitely not be able to beat you. Hyuga Chen nodded in agreement. Humph. Tsunade snorted unhappily, and did not refute. If it was Mikoto of Mangekyo before, Tsunade still had confidence, but he really didn't have confidence in Mikoto and Tsunade, whose strength is soaring now. Mikoto, what are the abilities of your two Mangekyo? Hyuga Chen asked curiously. Sharingan is the portrayal eye of the soul. Almost everyone is born with a different technique. There are some Mangekyo-s pupil techniques, but they are very abnormal. For example, Uchiha Obito's Kamui and Uchiha Shirsui's distinguished heavenly gods are very heaven-defying pupils, so Hyuga Chen is very curious about the pupils born of Mikoto. The left eye is the Sakura blade, which can release countless Sakura flowers, and the Sakura flowers are all transformed by the blade, and you can control the Sakura blade to strangle enemies. Mikoto first introduces the ability of the left eye. By the way, I will also demonstrate that the countless falling Sakura flowers are extremely beautiful, but there are murderous intentions hidden in the beauty. Under the control of Mikoto, the rocks can be crushed easily. Seeing this familiar attack, Hyuga Chen was stunned. Isn't this the great Zanpakuto Senbon ability? It's so beautiful. It would be great if I had this ability. Kushina was even more envious, and couldn't help complaining why she was not from the Uchiha family. The attack is too scattered, it looks gorgeous, but the attack power is insufficient. Hyuga Chen gave a very pertinent evaluation. Mikoto smiled, she was very satisfied with this pupil technique, or that no woman didn't like it. My right eye pupil technique is nothing. As long as it is something I don't agree with, it will become an illusion. Mikoto whispered another pupil technique. This time, including Hyuga Chen, all were sluggish. Things that are not recognized by Mikoto will become fake. This pupil technique is too abnormal and can be compared with Hyuga Chen's pupil technique, Gao Tian Yuan. How could there be such a perverted pupil technique? Tsunade couldn't believe it. Is this still a human ability? I'm afraid this is not the power of God. Very strong, even I envy it. Hyuga Chen didn't know what to say. Thinking of the scene when Mikoto opened his eyes, Hyuga Chen could understand Mikoto's pupil technique like this. Sharingan is the portrayal eye of the soul. Mikoto didn't believe that Hyuga Chen would die, and didn't want to believe that Hyuga Chen was dead. That's why such a perverted pupil technique was born. Chapter 53. Surely such a powerful pupil technique consumes a lot of money, right? Hyuga Chen asked Mikoto. My current chakra and pupil power can be used up to twice a day. Mikoto nodded lightly. Is that right? If you can use this pupil technique indefinitely, wouldn't it be invincible? Kushina said. Is this the ability of Sharingan? It's too powerful. I really don't know how my grandpa defeated Uchiha Madara. At this moment, Tsunade also admired him immensely. Haha, if you have seen Senju's supernatural powers, you should admire Uchiha Madara. Under that kind of perverted magic, you can actually fight Senju Hashirama. Hyuga Chen complained in his heart. Senju's supernatural powers are really perverted. In the entire Naruto world, there are few Senju who can beat the real numbers, and even that size can make people desperate. If you can beat Uchiha Madara and Nine Tails together, you can see the power of this ninjutsu, and Uchiha Madara is also suffering. Tsunade, do you know when Nine Tails will be transferred? Hyuga Chen asked suddenly, and asked Tsunade stupidly, how did you know? Tsunade didn't want to be surprised. Konoha didn't know much about it. Maybe she wouldn't know about the transfer of Nine Tails if it wasn't for Uzumaki Mito's granddaughter. Hyuga Chen pretended to be mysterious and said, there are definitely not many things I don't know about the entire ninja world. Forget it, I know you won't say it, and I won't ask how you know it, but why are you asking this? You have to make it clear. Tsunade looked serious. As if perceiving something subtle, Mikoto and Kushina stopped talking and looked at both Hyuga Chen and Tsunade. Hyuga Chen didn't mean to conceal, and said very directly, the idea that I am playing Nine Tails chakra is very important to me. No, the idea of hitting Nine Tails in Konoha village, I think you are crazy, and my grandma is still Nine Tails Jinchuriki, this thing is absolutely impossible. Tsunade refused, strictly. Sister Tsunade, although I'm sorry, but Nine Tails chakra, I have to get it. Hyuga Chen smiled apologetically at Tsunade. If you want to cultivate into the 6-way mode, the only way Hyuga Chen thinks of is to gather the chakra of the 9 big tails, or the chakra of 10 tails, and then integrate the power of the 6 ways. Hyuga Chen Tenseigan contains the power of the 6 realms. As long as there is 10 tails chakra, Hyuga Chen is confident to turn on the 6 realms mode and completely enter the 6 realms level, instead of relying on the pseudo 6 realms of the Tenseigan chakra mode. So you have to get the chakra of the 9 tails, and then merge into 10 tails chakra. Chen, let's end this matter. Once your mind about 9 tails is exposed, even I can't protect you. 9 tails is not a sheep to be slaughtered. It is a huge disaster. Tsunade persuaded. Don't worry, Sister Tsunade, I won't make you embarrassed. If 9 tails succeeds in the seal, I will withdraw directly. If the seal fails, can I try again? Okay. I can agree, but you have to prove that you have this strength, otherwise I won't watch you go to death. Seeing Hyuga Chen's determined attitude, Tsunade finally nodded. She understands Hyuga Chen's character, and what she decides must be done. Even if she stops it, it is impossible to stop it. Now Makoto can treat 9 tails as pets, not to mention me. I will never do things that are uncertain. Hyuga Chen chuckles. The location is Konoha House Han. 10 days later, when Konoha's high-level combat power will almost be gone, you have to be careful. Tsunade knew that it couldn't be stopped, so he could only remind him to be careful. Also, you must not make trouble. If you hurt my grandma, I will never end with you. Tsunade warned that she was serious this time. Although Tsunade knew that her grandma would die, she didn't want her grandma's death to be related to Hyuga Chen, otherwise she really didn't know how to face Hyuga Chen. Don't worry. Unless 9 tails breaks free, I will never make a move. Hyuga Chen nodded. Even if there is no chance this time, there will be opportunities in the future. It is not necessary to get it this time. It is best to get nature. In fact, with Hyuga Chen Tenseigan's detection ability, even Tsunade will know what 9 tails is doing. But Hyuga Chen chose to say it because he didn't want to be separated from Tsunade. Rather than being known by Tsunade afterwards, he might as well say it openly. You must not rush forward recklessly. Konoha's strength is very strong. I don't want to see you being caught. I won't know how to save you then. There are still many who can beat me, but there are almost none that can run past me. Don't worry, I can run if you can't beat me. Hyuga Chen said confidently. With space ability and the speed of light to move, absolutely no one can run him. Hyuga Chen has absolute self-confidence, and his ability to escape is very strong. Why do you want to get chakra from 9 tails? Do you also want to be Jinchuriki? Tsunade was very curious about this, and didn't understand why Hyuga Chen adhered to 9 tails chakra. This is a secret, so I won't tell you for now. I don't just want to fight 9 tails, but I also fight other tail beasts. Hyuga Chen's eyes shone brightly. Do you really dare to think? Do you know what the tail beast means? Tsunade was angry. From Tsunade's point of view, Hyuga Chen was just dying. The tail beast is the root of a village. Some people can indeed compete with the tail beast, but on the battlefield, 10 ninjas with the same strength as the tail beast are not as effective as a tail beast. The tail beast is the trump card of a village. It is very important to look at no matter which village it is. Hyuga Chen's move is against the entire ninja world. Seeing Hyuga Chen's firmness, Tsunade knew that he could not persuade him, so he could only sigh. To be disbanded today, you can practice your own practice these days. Now the local war has started, and there are no missions. Originally instructing Jonin was to teach students various skills, but in the previous battle, Tsunade found that Kushina and Makoto had very strong fighting skills, and there was no need to teach them. Hyuga Chen is better than her, wherever she needs to be taught. Now because of the fact that countries are ready to move, the ninjas' tasks are also much less. Although the war has not yet officially started, it is already on the eve of the approaching storm, and the torrential rain may spill down at any time. The villages have entered the alert period and may arrive at the battlefield at any time, and then full-scale conflict will erupt. At this time, Tsunade is very busy, or the entire Jonin of Konoha. None of them are not busy, so Hyuga Chen and the others in this class are unlucky. Jonin has no time to teach you at all. It can only be said that the time is not good. These have nothing to do with Hyuga Chen. He took the 2 daughters home happily. Hyuga Chen has moved away from the Hyuga family. Relying on the money he won in the casino and the money from the rich little Makoto, he bought a big one outside. Courtyard, Chapter 54. 10 days passed in a blink of an eye, and Konoha today seems to be the same as usual, but secretly, personnel are frequently mobilized, and Umbu ninjas come out all over Konoha to prevent outsiders from making trouble. The replacement of Jinchuriki is not a trivial matter. The whole village will explode if it is bad. When night came, some reddish moons hung in the sky, filled with an ominous breath, and 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen looked solemn. Even the rare Danzo led the root members to watch around, and Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Jiraiya, who had not yet been awarded the title of Sannin, all waited solemnly. Nine Tails is the strongest among all the tail beasts, a super shadow class with absolute strength. If it is not for Sharingan to restrain the tail beast, or Uchiha Madara, who wants to subdue Nine Tails, it will take a little effort. Once Nine Tails really ran away, to be honest, no one in Konoha can stop now, unless he uses the Ghoul Seal, which is the same deadly seal technique. Mrs. Mito, everything is up to you. Sarutobi Hiruzen bowed slightly to Uzumaki Mito. Grandma. There were tears in Tsunade's eyes. Jinchuriki was drawn to the tail beast, and there was only one end, and that was death. Haha. Kazuna needn't be sad. I have experienced ups and downs since Sengoku. I think Hashirama is waiting for me too. Uzumaki Mito said with a smile. Now she has looked down upon life and death, taking advantage of her strength to complete the handover of Jinchuriki, or waiting for Nine Tails to break. Konoha will be the unlucky one. Konoha Village is Hashirama's painstaking effort. Uzumaki Mito does not want Konoha Village to be destroyed. Protect Nawaki well. He is the hope of our Senju clan, the seal of the 4 elephants. Untie it. Uzumaki Mito unwrapped the seal instantly. The evil chakra overflowed, and everyone felt a sense of depression. This evil and tyrannical, full of murderous hatred and negative emotions, made everyone, including Sarutobi Hiruzen, terrifying. Alert me, the sealing team is ready to seal Nine Tails at any time. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was solemn. Damn Konoha, damn Uchiha Madara, damn Senju Hashirama, damn Uzumaki clan, I finally came out, I want you to die. Nine Tails roared to the sky, venting the anger in his heart. The size of 50 or 60 meters makes the surrounding ninjas desperate, and this is still Nine Tails on all fours. If you stand up, you may have a height of close to 100 meters. Nine Tails, you should stop when you are too old to move. Uzumaki Mito's hair had begun to wither because the tail beast was separated and life energy poured out. But an introverted aura broke out, and the huge chakra was shocking. Numerous chakra chains appeared, tying the 9 tails that just came out into rice dumplings. Damn Uzumaki Mito, don't want to shut me back, Lousy wants to be free. 9 tails kept roaring and struggling. Tomoko is a gentle and kind child, I hope she can influence you. Uzumaki Mito made a seal with both hands and sealed the 4 elephants. The sealing class next to him also helped, and wanted to seal 9 tails on Uzumaki Tomoko, who was on the side. Looking at the struggling 9 tails, Hyuga Chen in the distance sighed. Isn't this guy very awesome in the future? How can you be as embarrassed as a dog now? It seems that it's impossible to get chakra from 9 tails this time. I can only wait for it later. After sighing, Hyuga Chen was about to leave. At this moment, things took a turn for the better. 9 tails suddenly exerted force, and suddenly broke away from the diamond blockade, and the tail swept Uzumaki Mito out of the sky at a sudden. The situation turned out to be a good time for everyone to take advantage of the situation in the world. Uzumaki Mito, who was about to run out of oil, only breathed out because of 9 tails' attack, and had no ability to seal 9 tails. Grandma. Tsunade flew around and hugged Uzumaki Mito. Sadness appeared on his face, and looked at 9 tails with hatred. Uzumaki Mito smiled slightly. You don't have to hate 9 tails. It's not bad in nature, but human greed, which makes it not believe in humans. I have imprisoned it for so many years. I owe it. If it wants to go, let it go. After speaking, Uzumaki Mito closed his eyes with a smile. Perceiving the absence of Uzumaki Mito's breath, 9 tails was silent for a moment, and then said, I didn't want to kill you myself, but you forced me. Looking at the people of Konoha, the breath of 9 tails burst out, like chakra in the vast ocean, blowing away the ninja who still wanted to seal it. Looking at Uzumaki Mito's face, let me go, I won't kill you. 9 tails' tail danced wildly, her eyes proud. Without Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, 9 tails doesn't think Konoha can stop it. If you want to go, how could it be possible? Give me a hand to take 9 tails. Danzo directly ordered to do it. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent, and it was a acquiescence to Danzo. Konoha could not lose 9 tails. I didn't expect things to turn around. Hyuga Chen looked at the situation on the court, and stepped back after he had already stepped out. The greedy and despicable human beings want to gain my power. It's just wishful thinking. 9 tails was so angry that these greedy humans would have to die. A dozen ninjas flew with one paw, and then the ultimate chakra gathered, and mixed and compressed into a super density ball in the mouth at a ratio of yin and yang of 2 to 8. No, it's tailed beast bomb, everyone quickly avoid it. Sarutobi Hiruzen greeted him with his stick. He actually knew that he was shouting nonsense. how to avoid the tailed beast bomb. He could only stop it forcibly, otherwise few ninjas could survive. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen cannot resist tailed beast bomb, he can change his direction forcibly. Summoning, triple rashomon. 3 huge portals rose up, with the heads of evil spirits printed on them, just like the gates of hell. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that the triple rasho gate could not stop the tailed beast bomb, and then said to the ape demon who turned into the King Kong wishful stick, "Old man, it's up to you next. Sarutobi, you are killing me. I can only block it, and the rest is up to you," Tsurumo said, and his head turned into the shape of a shovel. At this time, the tailed beast bomb had already sent out, and the triple rashomon shattered like a bamboo, attacking towards the rear. The trajectory only deviated a little. Sarutobi Hiruzen was so dignified that he jumped up with a shovel in his hand, and then shoveled the huge tailed beast bomb into the sky, causing the tailed beast bomb to completely deviate from its orbit and fly into the sky. However, the monkey demon was directly beaten back to the summoning world, and the 3rd generation old man couldn't bear the strength, and spurted blood and flew back. Jiraiya quickly caught Sarutobi Hiruzen, otherwise Sarutobi Hiruzen might be thrown to death, becoming the first shadow to fall to death. Ahem. Attack quickly, don't give him a chance, Sarutobi Hiruzen said after coughing up a few mouthfuls of old blood. Give me an attack, Danzo yelled, then took the lead to attack Nine Tails. Although Danzo's character is not very good, his strength is not weak, especially Danzo, who is in his prime. Chapter 55. The shovel turned into by the monkey demon is really awesome. I don't know what my golden shovel is like. Hyuga Chen took out a golden shovel, which was obtained in a lottery a few years ago. No eggs are used. Tsunade, it's not the time to be sad, so hurry up and stop Nine Tails. Once you let him into the village, it will be in trouble, Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted to Tsunade, who was still sad. Grandma said, Nine Tails wants to go, just let it go. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent, and it was impossible for Nine Tails to leave. This was the ultimate weapon that threatened other Shinnin villages. How could it be possible to let Nine Tails leave? Tsunade, you know Konoha's situation. Now the border is about to move. Even the small country of Rain is ambitious and delusional to become the 6th largest ninja village. We Konoha can't lose Nine Tails, otherwise other ninja villages will definitely take the lead against us, Sarutobi Hiruzen explained politely. I see. Tsunade handed Uzumaki Mito's body to the Senju clan next to him. At this time, the Senju clan has not yet died. Although the population is sparse, there are still dozens of people. However, this seems a bit pitiful. The Senju clan, who used to be a master of ninja world during the Sengoku period, now there are dozens of people left, which is simply miserable. TSK Tusk. It's really lively. Don't mind if I come to join in the fun. Hyuga Chen suddenly appeared on top of Nine Tails' head and said with a smile, Damn reptile, get me down quickly. Nine Tails ignored the many ninja attacks and patted Hyuga Chen standing on its head. Anyway, the ninjutsu of those ninjas couldn't even break its defenses, and the reptile standing on top of it made it annoying. It remembers the last one standing on top of it, the Uchiha Madara that it hates most. The behavior of Hyuga Chen standing on the head of Nine Tails directly ignited the anger in Nine Tails' heart and attacked Hyuga Chen desperately. Hyuga Chen flashed lightly, and then flew high into the sky. Nine Tails slapped her on the head. It felt so stupid. A beast is a beast. Even if he could speak human words, he would be stupid and beat himself. Hyuga Chen laughed. Looking at Hyuga Chen, who was high in the sky, Nine Tails was very angry, and stared at Hyuga Chen with gnashing teeth, wishing to tear him alive. Who are you? Why did you appear in Konoha Shinobi Village? Konoha's ninja stopped attacking Nine Tails, and Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Hyuga Chen floating in the air with solemn expression. There are not many flying ninjas in the entire ninja world. It is absolutely a headache to encounter such a flying ninja. Hyuga Chen will not be so stupid that he doesn't pretend, he just appears so openly. He uses transformation technique to change his body shape. He wears the same Obito mask on his face, but Hyuga Chen has 2 holes on his face. However, the eye hole has been blocked by the black lens, and Hyuga Chen's eyes are not visible at all. His eyes are too conspicuous, and they can be easily recognized without covering them. Wearing the cape of General Marine of Pirate World, he is dressed strictly. If it weren't for Tsunade to know in advance, he would definitely not recognize Hyuga Chen. This guy is really dressed up, Tsunade murmured secretly. At the same time, she was relieved. She was afraid that Hyuga Chen would come over without any secret. You don't need to know who I am. Of course I am here for the animal Nine Tails. Hyuga Chen took a bite and a beast, making all ninjas full of black lines, and Nine Tails' anger could no longer be controlled. It is a self-proclaimed noble tail beast. Except for Uchiha Madara, Hyuga Chen is the second person to call him a beast. The old and new hatreds were all counted on Hyuga Chen's head, and chakra condensed in his mouth, and then formed a tailed beast bomb. Ninetales did not launch, but swallowed the tailed beast bomb and used the tailed beast bomb. Unlike tailed beast bomb is similar to Rasengan, and tailed beast bomb is the chakra light cannon, which directly sweeps the audience, but the nature is the same. Are you angry? Let me see your strength. Susanoo. A huge chakra spewed out, and then chakra materialized, and a Valkyrie wrapped in dark Tengu armor appeared. Hyuga Chen used a full-body Susanoo, who was over 100 meters tall. Compared with Susanoo, Ninetales lying prone on the ground, he was a child. This. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the great sky giant with a shocked look on his face. As the leader, Sarutobi Hiruzen is already like this, let alone other ninjas. When Susanoo showed up, they recognized what it was at a glance. They had seen it with their own eyes 4 years ago. Now it seems that the Susanoo they have seen should be a child, and this is the real Susanoo. It's the Uchiha family again. This family is simply a cancer. Konoha must not leave this cancer. Danzo said angrily. Danzo! Sarutobi Hiruzen screamed. Although there are no members of the Uchiha family, there is such a big movement. The Uchiha family should be coming soon. If Danzo's words were heard by the Uchiha family, a dispute would definitely be unavoidable. Sarutobi, did I make a mistake? I think this is the plot of the Uchiha family, trying to control Ninetales, and then rebel as Hokage. Danzo kept throwing dirty water on the Uchiha family. I don't know what kind of hatred Danzo and Uchiha have. It's like someone from the Uchiha family gave him a cuckold. Anyway, he took the opportunity to bite Uchiha, and what Danzo said at this time still makes sense. Don't say more, retreat first. Third generation didn't want to discuss this, and watched Susanoo who slashed the tail beast cannon, and quickly organized the ninja to retreat. It wasn't that third generation gave up, but it was unable to intervene at all. The two giants were fighting, and their kids intervened. Susanoo, you belong to the Uchiha family, and Uchiha is about to die. Ninetales saw Susanoo and became more emotional. Call your sister. Take me a trick, Susanoo Jean. With Susanoo's stroke, a huge sword pressed diagonally towards Ninetales. The speed was like a stream of light. Ninetales' pupils shrank, and then dodged flexibly, but it was still a little late, and the 3 tails were cut off, and Ninetales' defense didn't work at all. After cutting off the tail of Ninetales with sword pressure, he continued to fly forward, cutting off the mountain 10 miles away in half, and then flew to the distance. Ninetales cried out. Although the tail beasts are made of chakra, they are also creatures, and have pain sensation. Ninetales, your strength makes me very disappointed. It's best to use some strength to excite me, otherwise I don't mind hacking you to death. Hyuga Chen is in the crystal above Susanoo's head, looking down at Ninetales, as if watching a reptile all the time. You are too arrogant, even Uchiha Madara dare not speak to me like this. Ninetales roared, and the voice shook the world. Chapter 56. Hyuga Chen looked at Ninetales with endless contempt. Uchiha Madara regarded it as a beast, and it could say such things, which was really shameless. Ninetales roared and released a tailed beast bomb again, hitting Hyuga Chen's Susanoo with a loud noise, causing Hyuga Chen to retreat hundreds of meters. You are only at this level, except for chakra a little bit more, you are a pig in my eyes. Hyuga Chen repaired the slight damage to Susanoo's armor, and said with a slight disdain. The full-body Susanoo is indeed powerful, it can hardwire the tailed beast bomb frontally, and it is also the tailed beast bomb of Ninetales. Bastard thing. Ninetales yelled. Susanoo's offensive and defensive technique really made Ninetales uncomfortable. Tailed beasts can face ordinary ninjas, because it is difficult for ordinary ninjas to break their defenses. Facing Hyuga Chen's Susanoo, Ninetales is going to be unlucky. Ninetales can indeed break Susanoo's defense, but it requires continuous bombing. Hyuga Chen will not give it a chance. When Ninetales was about to hit the second tailed beast bomb, Susanoo had already arrived in front of Ninetales, took the tachi back, and punched Ninetales on the chin, making Ninetales' tailed beast bomb back. Ninetales, the incarnation of disaster, is nothing more than that. Hyuga Chen controlled Susanoo, raised Ninetales, and threw them for several kilometers away from Konoha village. Hyuga Chen wants to take down Ninetales. Susanoo alone is a bit troublesome, and the destructive power of both parties is too great, and it is easy to spread to Konoha village. Hyuga Chen himself doesn't care, but Mikoto and Kushina are still in the village, and if Konoha is destroyed because of their battle, Tsunade will definitely be sad. After throwing away Ninetales, Hyuga Chen put away the dock of Ninetales, and then ran toward Ninetales, stepping across nearly 100 meters, and in a flash, he came to Ninetales, and then kicked Ninetales for several kilometers. This time I was completely far away from Konoha. If you didn't deliberately attack Konoha, it would definitely not affect Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen and others who watched from a distance fell silent as they watched this scene. Sharingan's power is really powerful. This is already the legendary technique. There are countless tiger-tailed beasts that are feared like tigers, just like children who have not grown up. Orochimaru said softly, a trace of envy flashed in the vertical pupil, this was the first time he had pursued Sharingan. Even a few years ago, when Hyuga Chen controlled Uchiha Ryo to attack Sarutobi Hiruzen, Orochimaru did not envy it. Although Sharingan had strong abilities at the time, it did not have an overwhelming strength under the siege of Konoha. It's different now. He directly beat Nine Tails, which is recognized as the strongest in the ninja world, and hardwired the tailed beast bomb without any problems. Just look at Danzo next to him, and all his saliva is flowing out. Read more at hompnovel.xyz. If I can get this kind of power, then become Hokage and let Konoha dominate the entire ninja world, wouldn't it be easy? How can this kind of power appear in the damn Uchiha clan? This belongs to me. Danzo roared in his heart. Time is not short, the ninjas of the major families have also rushed over. Hokage-sama, is this? The current patriarch of the Nara family asked. A mysterious person who is suspected of the Uchiha family has fought with Nine Tails. Sarutobi Hiruzen also glanced at the Uchiha family chief. Uchiha, you almost vomited blood, watching Susanoo, who was beating Nine Tails, who was bigger than a hill, under the shining of moonlight, and he had the desire to die. There are so many awesome characters in their Uchiha family, so many that he doesn't even know the patriarch. Hokage-sama, this has nothing to do with my Uchiha family. Although this is indeed Susanoo, it has absolutely nothing to do with our Uchiha family. Uchiha, you said firmly, I know. Sarutobi Hiruzen believed Uchiha. If the Uchiha family really had this strength, they would have jumped up a long time ago. So Sarutobi Hiruzen has no doubt that this masked person has something to do with Uchiha. Perhaps it is your Uchiha family, the people scattered outside. This is the only explanation Sarutobi Hiruzen can think of. Sarutobi, at this time, I still think about how to get back Nine Tails and deal with the mysterious people. Mito Kato Hamura reminded him next to him. Oh. Look. We go up now, at best we can only be cannon fodder, no one else will look at us. Sarutobi Hiruzen said unwillingly. The surrounding ninjas were silent, and they didn't want to fight this kind of monster. Sarutobi, did you just let Nine Tails out like that? Danzo exploded as soon as he heard it. If you think you are very strong, you can go up and try it. Danzo stopped talking. He was a life-saving person, how could he rush to the front? Don't look at Danzo's performance at the end. It seems that he performed great. In fact, he wanted to lay his back on his deathbed, and then put on a great label, a strong whitewashing wave. In fact, it's black and purple, and it's white ass. If Danzo can wash white, then everyone can wash white. But when I think about it, everyone is really white. The entire Hokage, except for Kagayaji, who knelt shortly after he appeared on the stage, seems to be all white. In this way, Kagayaji is so pitiful. She is obviously to resist the enemies that can destroy the world, and she is clearly to destroy the world to save the world, but she has not been washed away. Funny, Mangekyo Sharingan is terrible. If there are a few more pairs, the whole ninja world together will not be an opponent. Jiraiya sighed. In fact, this sentence is an unintentional remark of Jiraiya, but when it reaches other people, it changes its taste. Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo, and the members of the Konoha elders, including Konoha's major families, all became wary of the Uchiha family. Uchiha almost jumped up and looked at Jiraiya with a bad look. The Uchiha family asked themselves that they did not offend Jiraiya, but this force actually harmed them. What an idiot. Orochimaru cursed. Saying this at this time directly offended the Uchiha family. How can Shin Susanoo? Tsunade asked in his heart. She was the only person present who knew the identity of Hyuga Chen, so she was very curious about Hyuga Chen being able to use the ultimate meaning of the Uchiha family. Since Chen can help Makoto turn on Mangekyo, it's not surprising to be able to use Susanoo. Tsunade can only explain this way, otherwise he can't explain it at all. In fact, she was very curious about Hyuga Chen's physical skills and golden flash ability, but she never asked. Everyone has their own secrets. If she asks Hyuga Chen forcibly, even if Hyuga Chen really says it, it will destroy the relationship between them. Chapter 57. The strength of Nine Tails is really not covered. After playing for so long, I still can't get it. It is worthy of being the strongest of the Nine Tails. Hyuga Chen said silently. This is still Hyuga Chen's superior swordsmanship, allowing Hyuga Chen's Susanoo combat power to be added, and this will suppress Nine Tails, otherwise the two sides will at most be a tie. Uchiha Madara was able to treat Nine Tails as a pet because Sharingan restrained him, and could control Nine Tails with a glance. Otherwise, Uchiha Madara will take a lot of effort to defeat Nine Tails. Of course, this refers to Madara before Rinnegan is turned on. Madara with Rinnegan playing Nine Tails is definitely a father beating a son. Although Tenseigan is better than Eternal Mangekyo, it has a special skill in the art industry. There is no way to easily control the tail beast, at least it cannot control the Nine Tails, otherwise Hyuga Chen would have used it a long time ago. Tenseigan's ability to control the puppets was also useless with Nine Tails. Hyuga Chen didn't want to expose Tenseigan's ability, so he could only use Susanoo to take down 9 tails. In the future, Hyuga Chen will definitely use Tenseigan's ability and Sparkling Fruit's ability frequently. It's best not to use it now, otherwise, it's easy to reveal his identity. Hyuga Chen has never thought of becoming Renin. It is obvious that Konoha is delicious, so why should he be Renin? That's why Hyuga Chen has always used Susanoo, and Hyuga Chen's Susanoo has a tasteless ability, that is, it can change colors and shapes, not afraid of exposure, and change a color and shape. But this ability is very tasteless, the weapon only comes with 2 ordinary dachi. Compared with Uchiha Itachi, which has 3 artifacts, Hyuga Chen's Susanoo is a bit low. 9 tails, the big fox, is really stubborn. It must be a quick battle and a quick battle to fight chakra consumption. I can't match it. It seems I need to use Tenseigan. Hyuga Chen secretly said. The current Hyuga Chen is not the same as Senju Hashirama. Chakra is bursting, basically infinite, and it is impossible to fight a protracted battle with 9 tails, which is known as Chakra Unlimited. Susanoo Gravity Sword. Hyuga Chen controlled Susanoo to swing his sword with all his strength, and coordinated with Tenseigan's gravitational force, directly pulling 9 tails over, and hitting Susanoo's tachi. Anyway, Konoha's people are far away from Hyuga Chen, and they can't see Hyuga Chen at all. After a little bit of use of Tenseigan, no one can find out. Even if I saw it, I just thought it was Susanoo's ability. With a dazed look, 9 tails ran into Susanoo's sword. The blade cut the iron like mud, and 9 tails was chopped off a quarter of his body. Since 9 tails is composed of chakra, there is no flesh and blood flying around, and the chopped part turns into chakra. 9 tails did not lack anything, but it was just a small circle. The tail that was chopped off by Hyuga Chen before was also the same. 9 tails did not lack any body parts. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Hyuga Chen, with the crystal on Susanoo's head, quickly shot, and 9 tails chakra was collected by him. A quarter of 9 tails chakra? It doesn't seem to be enough. After getting a quarter of 9 tails chakra, Hyuga Chen didn't give up, but greedily stared at 9 tails again. Hyuga Chen's goal is half of 9 tails chakra. Now the goal is only half completed, and the remaining half has not been completed yet. 9 tails has 9 tails wagging and furious. 9 tails claims that chakra is infinite. This is just called it. A quarter of chakra does not know when it will recover. You are just angry. If you don't play with you, you will be solved directly. Hyuga Chen sneered coldly. Under the control of Hyuga Chen, Susanoo pressed on the head of 9 tails, restraining 9 tails here. Hyuga Chen directly released a green ball of light and used the Tenseigan ability to start drawing chakra from 9 tails, hoping to end it quickly. The chakra of 9 tails was sucked away by Hyuga Chen like running water. Feeling the loss of chakra, 9 tails roared anxiously. A pair of fox eyes looked at Hyuga Chen with hatred, and there was a trace of fear in the deepest part. Under Hyuga Chen's chakra, 9 tails lost weight. It used to be 50 meters on the stomach, but now it is 30 meters. After getting enough chakra, Hyuga Chen also stopped and watched lying on the ground, like a dead dog 9 tails, manipulating Susanoo to kick. Then he glanced at Konoha a few kilometers away. The huge Susanoo disappeared, and Hyuga Chen used the space to teleport away. What's the matter? Is it that you can't insist on Susanoo's consumption, or have you already left? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked the patriarch of the Hyuga family. Only chakra from 9 tails was there, and no one else was seen. Chief Hyuga glanced at Byakugan and said, before there were 2 chakra sources with the same big bulbs, now there is only the huge chakra aggregate, 9 tails. Don't worry about the mysterious person, go and seal 9 tails. Maybe the mysterious person has already got what he wanted and left. Sarutobi Hiruzen took the lead and rushed forward. Seeing that Naruto had taken the lead, the feared ninjas also suppressed the fear in their hearts and rushed up with Sarutobi Hiruzen. The distance of a few kilometers is only a matter of minutes for these ninjas who are faster than cars. When I came to 9 tails and looked at the skinny 9 tails, everyone couldn't believe it. Is this still 9 tails? What do you look at? 9 tails struggled to get up, staring at Konoha in embarrassment. Such a shameful thing, you must not let the other tail beasts know, otherwise it will be embarrassing. It seems that you are going to kill people. 9 tails thought in her heart. 9 tails raised her paw, and just about to take the shot, she felt a weakness, accidentally fell to the ground, and the fox's face became even more embarrassed. Originally, 9 tails lost chakra one after another and was already very weak. Before leaving, Hyuga Chen added a weak buff to it. As a result, 9 tails accidentally fell to the ground, and the 2 fox eyes stared at Konoha's ninja. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was originally nervous, also breathed a sigh of relief, and then asked the sealing team to come over to seal 9 tails. You despicable human beings who take advantage of the fox's danger, have the ability to wait for this uncle to recover. This uncle wants you to look good. 9 tails yelled angrily. This is really a tiger deceived by a dog. Hands. Sarutobi Hiruzen ignored Nine Tails' clamor. How to seal it if Nine Tails is weak? It's not that easy to seal me. Nine Tails broke out in chakra anger, forming a chakra torrent, blowing the ninjas of the seal class away. We took action to contain Nine Tails and seal the people in the sealing class. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with an ugly face. A Nine Tails who was marked as first-degree disabled, they can't deal with it, which makes Sarutobi Hiruzen feel very shameless. At the same time, fortunately, the mysterious person didn't take action on Konoha, and the result would be unthinkable. Chapter 58. Wind Style, Vacuum Big Jade, Fire, Thunder, Water, Soil, Wind, 5 Escapes, Dalian Playing Technique. Life is back. 6 Types of Profound Righteousness, the largest round of 6 King Spears. Danzo first shot and knocked Nine Tails back several meters, and then Sarutobi Hiruzen followed, embroidered a fancy 5 Escapes, and opened everyone's eyes. And it was so powerful that it sank Nine Tails' body to the ground. At this time, Tsunade jumped up and used the 6 King Spear, the largest round of 6 types of Uranus, and combined with the strange power technique, hitting the head of Nine Tails who had just pulled out his head from the ground. One blow was blasted by Nine Tails, and the ground with a radius of 100 meters, cracked. Nine Tails were all trapped in the pit, unable to recover for a long time. What are you doing in a daze? Take advantage of this good opportunity and seal Nine Tails. Tsunade snorted. Yes, yes. Tsunade-sama, those in the seal class, quickly agreed. Seeing the destruction caused by Tsunade, everyone's expressions changed. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked incomparably ashamed, Jiraiya kept wiping cold sweat, Orochimaru's mouth twitched, Danzo's face was gloomy, and the chiefs of the major families were silent. Nine Tails were all beaten in such a way, not to mention people. If a person was hit, it would definitely be a dead end. This is definitely the strongest physical skill they have ever seen. If you let them know that Tsunade hasn't used all their strength, they must be scared to death. You know Tsunade is useless armament Haki. If you bless armament Haki, you will definitely be able to stun the weak Nine Tails. Nine Tails shook his head, and it took a long time to recover, but it was too late, and the seal squad's seal technique was completed. Under the unwilling expression of Nine Tails, he was sealed in Tomoko Uzumaki's body, and the seal that sealed Nine Tails this time was the 8-sign seal, an enhanced version of the 4-elephant seal. After Nine Tails was sealed, Sarutobi Hiruzen breathed a sigh of relief. The change of Jinchuriki was a twists and turns, but luckily it succeeded in the end. Sarutobi, you must find out the origin of that mysterious man. Danzo strode over, his face gloomy, and said, Danzo, you'd better not act rashly, that person's strength is very strong, I am afraid that he has reached the level of Uchiha Madara. Sarutobi Hiruzen said cautiously, but he was not careful, but the other party was able to hang Nine Tails. If it hadn't been known that Uchiha Madara would have been dead, Sarutobi Hiruzen would have thought that this person was Uchiha Madara. Cowardly, is it because the opponent is strong, should you be afraid of him? Everyone who peeped at Konoha will die. Danzo screamed. After Danzo finished speaking, instead of respecting him, everyone around him showed disdain. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. When people were here before, Danzo didn't even dare to let go. Now that the other party has left, he is here again, to pretend to be a hero. If you really have such a backbone, why didn't you say that before? This is the end of this matter, but the investigation still needs to be investigated, but don't make a big fanfare, so as not to irritate the other party. Third Generation did not give Danzo a chance to speak, and directly agreed. Danzo, you better be honest. If Konoha brings disasters because of you, don't blame me for not reading our affection. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew Danzo likes to jump, so he warned him directly. In the past, when Danzo jumped, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't stop it, because it was also beneficial to him. This time it was related to Konoha's major event. He didn't dare to let Danzo mess around. Humph. Danzo snorted coldly, and left with the rooted ninja. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked the remaining people to comfort the villagers. Such a big movement can be heard as long as it is not deaf. Moreover, the size of Nine Tails and Susanoo, even at night, is very far away, and they are also very conspicuous. Many people have seen Nine Tails and Susanoo. This is because the back mountain blocks most of the line of sight, otherwise more people will see. Chen, you are back, are you okay? Mikoto and Kushina ran over nervously. What can you do? Your husband will go out. A little Nine Tails is not a piece of cake. Hyuga Chen said with a slightly expressive tone, patted his chest. Yeah. As you said, isn't it just a little Nine Tails? Look at you. Kushina couldn't understand Hyuga Chen's proud look, and turned back in his own words. Hyuga Chen's face was embarrassed, he just wanted to pretend to be forced. Kushina's words made him unable to pretend, and Hyuga Chen was very upset. It's really done with Nine Tails. I feel the huge chakra here. Even Mikoto says it's not an opponent. Kushina was slightly skeptical. Hyuga Chen is even more upset. not only interrupting himself to pretend, he also doubts his own strength. Hyuga Chen immediately took out a specially manufactured scroll to seal the Nine Tails chakra. Look, I have extracted more than half of chakra from Nine Tails. Nine Tails will never recover in 7 or 8 years. Since you can hang Nine Tails, what do you want chakra from Nine Tails for? Kushina asked, puzzled. This can't be said clearly in 1 sentence or 2 sentences, and Nine Tails chakra is useless. I will explain it to you later. Hyuga Chen did not explain, and knowing too much is not good for them. It's not that the more you know, the better, sometimes the more you know, the more despair. If Hyuga Chen does not have a system, even he will despair. In Hokage, it is very difficult to become a super shadow without a plug-in. At least, Hyuga Chen does not think that he can cultivate to super shadow without a system. Not to mention the super shadow, even the shadow level is a bit reluctant, and the shadow level in the 4th battle is just a larger crawler. So it's better not to tell them for the time being, so as not to undermine their confidence. Seeing that Hyuga Chen didn't want to talk, Kushina didn't ask questions unreasonably. Konoha's replacement of Jinchuriki can't hide it from other shinobi villages. Even the civilians of Konoha know some of it. If the spies in other shinobi villages don't know, they are blind. The replacement of Nine Tails Jinchuriki has a great impact on the situation of the entire ninja world. Originally, the various ninja villages were just tentative fights. Now I heard that Konoha replaced Jinchuriki, and the little abacus in my heart began to fight. After replacing Jinchuriki, Konoha was unable to dispatch Jinchuriki at all, and no ninja village would put a new Jinchuriki on the battlefield. Jinchuriki is a big killer, but it is also a big bomb, which will explode if one is not careful. When the time comes, it will not hurt the enemy, but hurt yourself first. Although the various ninja villages agreed not to use the tail beast without authorization, once a war starts, who cares about it? In short, Konoha directly abolished one arm this time, and let the other shinobu village celebrate with joy. Konoha occupies the most fertile land in the ninja world, and other ninja villages have long been jealous. Now, taking advantage of Konoha, the tiger's broken tooth, he quickly took a bite. Chapter 59. A task? Looking at the Tsunade summoning them, Hyuga Chen asked suspiciously. I took a normal sea-level mission to let you see blood. Although you are very strong, you have never seen blood. In a real life and death battle, you may not be able to show even half of your strength. Tsunade is serious. She said that seeing blood is killing people. Ninjas are all fighting in blood and fire. No ninja dares to say that he has never killed anyone. See blood? That's fine. Hyuga Chen looked at the 2 daughters of Mikoto and Kushina and nodded slightly. Hyuga Chen said that it doesn't matter, but it is very important to Mikoto and Kushina, although they are very strong. Kushina can compete with Jonin, Mikoto is full of strength, and can even fight against the shadow class powerhouses. But this is only theoretically, whether it is combat experience or psychological quality, they can't even match those Chunin. At this time, it's okay to practice and improve your mental quality. Otherwise you will be in trouble if you don't dare to start when you encounter an enemy. This time it is a group of bandits in the land of the suppression of the fire. According to the information given by Konoha, this band of bandits has no ninjas at all, and it is just suitable for ninjas who have just graduated. Tsunade tells the information of the mission. No problem, right? No problem, let's go. Hyuga Chen nodded, not to mention a group of ordinary bandits, even Shao organization is fine. However, the Akatsuki organization has not yet been established, and Yahiko is probably still wandering in the country of rain, and is now struggling to eat a full meal. After leaving Konoha village, Hyuga Chen looked around. This is the first time Hyuga Chen has left Konoha village. For nearly 10 years, he hadn't stepped out of Konoha village at all. He was naturally curious about the scenery outside Konoha. Mikoto, like Hyuga Chen, looked at the surroundings with a strong curious color. The outside of its solid wood leaves is nothing compared to the inside of Konoha village. Konoha can be said to be the most prosperous place in the entire ninja world. Tsunade said to Hyuga Chen and the others with a smile. Yes, Konoha is the most prosperous place I have ever seen, much more prosperous than the Uzumaki country. But there is no Uzumaki country anymore. At the end, Kushina's mood fell. Hyuga Chen walked up and patted Kushina on the shoulder. Kushina still has us now, so I won't be alone in the future. After clearing up her emotions, Kushina smiled again. Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Now that the Uzumaki kingdom is a thing of the past, why doesn't she look forward? God treats her too badly. She now has Chen who loves her, good friend Mikoto, and sister Tsunade. Kushina's personality is more optimistic, so she quickly throws away the unhappy things, turns around and smiles and whispers to Mikoto, "You don't seem to be nervous at all?" Tsunade and Hyuga Chen walked side by side. Tsunade's height is not that tall, but it is still a bit taller than Hyuga Chen. After all, Hyuga Chen is only 10 years old. What's so nervous? Isn't it just killing someone? It's not that you haven't done it. Suddenly, Hyuga Chen found that he had missed it. Who did you kill? Tsunade narrowed his eyes. Just forget it if you don't want to say it. Seeing that Hyuga Chen didn't mean to say anything, Tsunade didn't ask anymore. It's okay to tell you, it's a member of the Uchiha family. If you want to trouble me, I won't let him go. Hyuga Chen ignored all the people who died indirectly in his hands. Counting the people killed by Uchiha Ryo should also be counted on Hyuga Chen, because at that time it was Hyuga Chen who controlled Uchiha Ryo, and he was a puppet. But this can't let Tsunade know that, unlike Hyuga Chen, Mikoto, and Kushina, Tsunade has a deep affection for Konoha. After all, Konoha was founded by Tsunade's grandfather, and Tsunade grew up in Konoha, and his affection for Konoha is definitely not shallow. Hyuga Chen is a traveler. Hyuga Chen, who knows the dark side of Konoha, does not have a lot of affection for Konoha. If Konoha is not more prosperous, Hyuga Chen may have to leave Konoha. Hyuga Chen would never admit that he stayed here because of Konoha's beauties, absolutely not. The Uchiha family members, shouldn't it be Uchiha Kairen? Tsunade thought of Uchiha Kairen, who had once made a lot of noise and shocked the entire Konoha executives. Yes, it's that guy. He wanted to kill me and Mikoto, so I killed him. Hyuga Chen's tone was relaxed, as if he was talking about killing a chicken. In the eyes of Hyuga Chen, Uchiha Chirin is not much better than chicken. What a pervert. Tsunade smacked his tongue. Hyuga Chen was just how old at that time, but he was more than 5 years old, and he was able to kill the elite Jonin. It was unimaginable. How strong are you now, and how do you compare to Uchiha Madara? Tsunade asked curiously. Mikoto and Kushina, who were whispering, also stretched their heads and looked at Hyuga Chen curiously. They also wanted to know the answer. Hyuga Chen gave Tsunade a Byakugan, and then said helplessly, "We haven't had a fight between us, how do I know?" "Of course I know you haven't played, just let you speculate. My strength should be about the same as your grandfather, except chakra is not as good as your grandfather, and I am better than him, and the overall strength is not much different." Hyuga Chen speculated by touching his chin. Senju Hashirama has Sage Mode. Hyuga Chen also has Tenseigan Chakra Mode, which is stronger than Sage Mode, and it should be no problem to tie with Senju Hashirama. Similar to my grandfather, that is better than Uchiha Madara. Similar to your grandfather, is it better than Uchiha Madara? Where did you come from? Hyuga Chen couldn't help but flip through Byakugan. Although Uchiha Madara is very old now, he has a lot of means, and Hyuga Chen is not absolutely sure to defeat him. Uchiha Madara has the Gedo statue, the body of the tree of God, in his hand, and no one knows what means will erupt. The outer shell of the sacred tree loses chakra, and Hyuga Chen does not dare to underestimate it. After all, it is the origin of chakra, so much attention cannot be overstated. My grandfather can beat Uchiha Madara, and you are about the same as my grandfather, naturally better than Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara is not so easy to deal with. If your grandfather is still alive, at best he will be tied with Uchiha Madara. This is Hyuga Chen's estimate. Uchiha Madara's body is supported by Gedo statue, so he should be able to show his full strength. But his Rinnegan should be given to Nagato, so Uchiha Madara's strength should be reduced, but it should not be underestimated. Although Hyuga Chen is not afraid of him, he does not want to conflict with Uchiha Madara. Compared to Uchiha Madara, Hyuga Chen is more afraid of Black Zetsu. Once there is a conflict with Uchiha Madara, it will definitely attract the attention of Black Zetsu, which Hyuga Chen does not want to see. Chapter 60. The guy Black Zetsu seems incapable, but he can kill Uchiha Madara, knowing that this guy is definitely not a general. Anyway, if you play intrigues, even 10 Hyuga Chen is not enough for Black Zetsu. This is the mission location. It looks so simple. It seems that these bandits are not doing very well. Kushina looked at the thatched hut on the top of the mountain and complained. The bandits are just bullying the civilians. The real powerful merchants will ask ninjas to protect them. They can only make a living by robbing the civilians. Tsunade added some knowledge and experience to them. These people are so bad, they are still a bit psychologically burdened, but now it seems that they are all damn people. Kushina raised his fist in anger. Heh, Tsunade chuckled, looking at Kushina. She thought of herself who had just performed the task. Don't be soft-hearted. No one will stay in the entire cottage, including women and babies. Although the words are a bit cruel, this is a ninja. In the world of ninjas, even in the face of a child, one cannot relax his vigilance. This is a rule handed down from the Sengoku period, but not much is being followed now. It is not that the ninjas are now kind, but that they are not cruel in the Sengoku period. The children of the Sengoku period also had a lot of fighting power. Today's children are far worse, even if they don't want to take it lightly. Women with babies, too? Mikoto hesitated. She had a gentle and kind character and couldn't deal with weak women or babies who couldn't talk. That's right. No matter who the enemy is, as long as you are sure it is the enemy, you must cut the grass and wipe out the roots. Tsunade said coldly. Looking at the unacceptable Mikoto, Hyuga Chen did not persuade him. In this world where killing is the theme song, kindness can only treat his own people, and treat the enemy coldly and cruelly. Mikoto, if you let them go today, they may retaliate against you and your loved ones in the future, don't hesitate, this is also a ninja rule. Tsunade's eyes were extremely serious. If Mikoto can't pass this level, no matter how strong he is, he can't become a qualified ninja. Family? Mikoto glanced at Hyuga Chen and Kushina, then his eyes became firm. Although she is gentle and kind, Mikoto cares more about her relatives. If someone dares to hurt Hyuga Chen and Kushina, Mikoto doesn't mind being Inshura. Kushina is easier to accept than Mikoto. Although Kushina is carefree and has a very cheerful personality, don't forget that Kushina has witnessed the demise of the Uzumaki kingdom with his own eyes. Only a few people survived in the entire Vortex country, so you can imagine the tragedy at that time. I will look at you from a distance, let's start. Tsunade jumped on top of a big tree and looked at the top of the mountain in the distance. Go ahead. Don't have any burdens. When you pick up the weapon, you are a demon, and the devil does not need mercy. Hyuga Chen turned into a streamer and appeared on the humble castle. What do you? Read more at hauntnovel.xyz. Laugh. There was a tearing sound, and before the alert bandit could finish speaking, Hyuga Chen had already cut his throat with cold kunai. Sure enough, this world of the weak and the strong is more suitable for me. Looking at the gradually cold body, Hyuga Chen didn't have any other expressions, but said with a faint emotion, there is a demon in everyone's heart. When there is no crossing, there is a big lock of law that locks the demon in Hyuga Chen's heart. Let him face all injustices, and can only bear it again and again. After coming to the Naruto world, the big lock had disappeared, and the system opened his cage to release the power of the devil in his heart. So when I came to Hokage, Hyuga Chen never thought of pursuing peace. Not only did Hyuga Chen know that there is no absolute reason for peace, but also because he didn't want it in his heart. Rather than maintaining a hypocritical peace, it is better to be pleased with enmity. Why bother to run around for a vain peace? The more selfish Hyuga Chen does not think for the sake of those living in the shinobi world, he does not have such lofty ideals. He stretched out his finger, 5 light bullets flew out, and then penetrated several bandits who were investigating in other directions, and then Hyuga Chen stopped. This time, the protagonists are actually Mikoto and Kushina, mainly to experience them, otherwise Hyuga Chen would have bombed the mountain with Bachi Chiongo. Soon after, Mikoto and Kushina arrived, then glanced at each other, and rushed into the cottage with Kuwu. In an instant, the two daughters Kushina and Mikoto dealt with more than a dozen bandits. Although they were really uncomfortable at first, they even vomited out, but they got better behind. Hyuga Chen did not intervene, standing at the highest point, looking at the bandits, who were crying and crying. His eyes were as cold as frost, making the June air bring a touch of chill. Weakness is the original sin. Once I was also weak. Now I want to be a strong one, so that I won't let the system bring me into this world, Hyuga Chen said in a cold voice. In a quarter of an hour, the following battle was over, and the entire cottage came out of Hyuga Chen and the three of them, none of them were breathing. More than 100 people, including men, women, and children, all turned into dead bodies, and their blood turned into streams, gurgling. Mikoto and Kushina turned pale. Although Kushina is also a person who has seen big scenes, it is different from seeing them and doing them yourself. Alright? Hyuga Chen walked over and patted the two on the back with his hands. I'm fine. Mikoto smiled reluctantly and said softly, look at Mikoto's pale face and the look of resisting vomiting, no matter how okay. Compared to Mikoto, Kushina was much more straightforward, rushing directly into Hyuga Chen's arms. It's so uncomfortable, I feel a little nauseous, I want to vomit but can't vomit up. Kushina said, clutching her chest, it will be better to experience more in the future. Hyuga Chen can only comforted, soothing Mikoto and Kushina, then Hyuga Chen released a huge great fireball technique to set the mountain on fire. The endless fire began to spread, and soon 1.0 covered the entire mountain. Hyuga Chen took Mikoto and Kushina and left quickly, not only because of the spread of the fire, but also because of the burning smell of the dead body. This smell is too unpleasant, even Hyuga Chen is about to vomit after smelling it. This is definitely the most unpleasant smell other than sparkling fruit that Hyuga Chen has come into contact with. Coming to the bottom of the mountain, Tsunade walked over with a smile on his face. To be honest, I am very satisfied with your performance. I was worried that you would not be able to kill you. Now it seems to be a waste of worry, the mission is complete. To celebrate our completion of the first mission, I invite you to eat meat. Tsunade said with a weird smile on his face. As soon as they heard eating meat, Mikoto and Kushina spit out, and at the same time looked at Tsunade with bitter eyes. This was absolutely intentional.